Jim, we received a couple of questions about the same topic, so I'm going to read you both of them. This first one was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Quiet Dignity and Grace.
Is that a funeral home?
I always wanted to know where the DDT came from. Is it named after the wrestler that came up with the maneuver? Do the initials stand for something? Just a few thoughts that keep me awake at night while listening to your history lessons. And then it says here, is it don't do this? Done dementing trauma? And then the second question on the same topic from James, Yorkshire, England. I've noticed that most of the time the wrestler giving the DDT will slap the opponent's back before delivering the move. Why is that? I always figured it was a cue to the other wrestler, but don't they always do it? And it seems very obvious. Is there another reason I'm missing?
Yes, there is. You're missing a lot. What's this fellow's name?
Well, this was James. The first one was
James, you've missed everything. No. Well, first of all, the slap on the back. Yeah, Jake popularized the DDT. There has been evidence that Black Gordman was doing a maneuver like that, just as a maneuver in his matches before Jake. Jake says that, well, it was a mistake. He had a front face lock on one night and his opponent was pushing him backwards and he tripped. That's bullshit. The thing is, when Jake popularized the DDT and used it as his finish, and it was most deadly and put over as, the finish of the thing, it made sense when done exactly as he did it. Think about this. You put the guy in a front face lock. You're standing in front of him. He's bent over. You've got your arm around his neck, and you're going to fall backwards and you're going to drive his face into the fucking mat. And what visually would even accentuate that, because Jake is a genius at, as we've talked about it, being visual and making sure people get the idea until he, in his later years got sideways. But what would accentuate that more is if you raise that long arm of Jake's is all the way up in the air and then bring it down with somewhat level of violence and slap the guy's back. As you drop, it looks like you're even pushing him down more. You see what I'm saying, Brian? So boom, the slap on the back combined with the fall, and the guy takes a bump right on his fucking chest and face, and that's it, lights out. That's the way Jake did it. Well, then everybody started to, I can take the bump a different way. I can spike myself and do a headstand on my head straight up in the air with my feet. Or I'll take the bump and I'll roll over frontwards like it turned me a forward roll. Or now some guys are just slapping the back because they didn't even bother to think through why Jake was doing, and it just sounds cool or whatever. But that's why all those variations came about, because they decided, well, we can do it better or different or make it prettier or whatever. And that's why we're still talking about Jake when we're talking about the DDT, because he's the one that got it over and did it right and made sense and protected it.
What'd you think about, like, when in WCW, or when it just became WCW, you had both Arn Anderson and the Freebirds doing the rolling DDT, where you don't go. I didn't mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yes. Well, I know the rolling thing where you kind of boom and you're going over, but I didn't mind when Arn did it, because Arn was so quick with that and the spine buster, and he'd snatch the DDT sometimes when people tried to duck his punch. The Freebirds doing the DDT is, because that's the thing is, that wasn't even the real Freebirds. Hayes and Garvin, I mean, come on. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin with Precious was great. Jimmy Garvin as a Freebird was because he and Michael were friends, and they talked him into it. And Michael, his work was best done outside managing Buddy and Terry, and being the speaker as far as in the ring. So it was hard working with that version of the Freebirds. The DDTs were nothing to write home about.
And in terms of the name, it's based on DDT, isn't it?
Oh, Well, that's why I can't pronounce it. You might be able to Google it and work out phonetically, but DDT was a pesticide. I can't believe it's been so long now. I'm having to tell the kids this. DDT was a pesticide that they were using in the 70s that was fucking dangerous and deadly and poisonous, and it caused cancer and all kinds of rot. And it was federally banned because it was too dangerous for humans to be exposed to. DDT, that was the name of the pesticide. So it became this perfect name for a wrestling move.
You know, I'm going to screw up the quote, but I think once Jake was asked, like early on TV, like, what does DDT stand for? Or what does DDT mean? And I think his answer was the end. Like, oh, that's great. Yeah.
Well, it was like an earlier version of, what was that stuff they were spraying on weed to kill weed 30 years ago? The government was, and then it was going to kill the people that were smoking the weed also. Some kind of, it was the earlier version of that, but they were using it on actual crops that we were then going to digest.